نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم تبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين. My dear brothers and respected elders, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is teaching us. Nobody else. Whatever we know is taught by Allah. The fountain of all knowledge is Allah. All knowledge comes from Him. If He did not teach us, naturally we will not be able to do anything. And will not be able to do anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches the bees to make the nectar. Allah says, we give ilham or insinuation to the bees to collect nectar from such flowers. And then the honey is being made. And Allah says we make the honey as medicines for mankind. So similarly, Allah teach, this one Steve Jobs, who can invent such a phone, which enables us to speak to others who are in distant places, all the way from us. In a minute, in a second, we turn it. WhatsApp or a messenger, and we can see him, and he's talking to him. He's in America, and we are here in Kuala Lumpur, and yet we are able to communicate, which our forefathers will never be able to imagine that such thing will be able to be done by men. Do you think so? They will never think that is possible, but it's all possible now. It's all in this phone. You just turn it. You can speak now, and you can listen. People in America can listen to me now. What a wonder. What a blessing. Who has taught men to do that? Who has taught Steve Jobs, become so obsessed with this science of communications, electronics, which finally enable him to find the way on how to make, just with a handphone and internet, people are able to communicate worldwide. So the virus in England now has the coronavirus has mutated to much more dangerous species, which has mutated to more easily spread out. So it is very scary. Now the world is no longer like before. We are isolated, and we can only communicate by having to go by plane, to England. Can talk only maybe by phone, but before that, whatever happened in many parts of the world are not known by the others. But now, things are being communicated and can spread very fast to the whole entire world. Because people are traveling. Their means of transport now has been invented to enable people to go far and wide. which our forefathers used to travel months to go to Mecca by ship. Before that, I don't know how they will travel there, by walking, nothing, by camels. So things has become very, very speedily progress towards the world to become just a city or country. We are no longer being separated by distance. We can go very fast. In a matter of time, very short time, we'll be able to be in some distant places with such a very, high-speed airlines at 800 kilometers an hour. 800 kilometers an hour. Maybe 1,000 kilometers an hour. They used to invent before a plane, no? First France invented it. What is that name of plane? No more. Concorde. Cool. And when we go on the plane, it's just like a house. Everything is there. Have food, can sleep, comfortable. They are planes which are made like a hotel room, well served by food and drinks, just like at home sleeping. And then you reach your destination. So we should make use of this, what Allah has taught, what Allah has given, what Allah has blessed us with, to spread this deen, to spread this religion of Islam. Not only to use all these blessings which Allah has given them for only enjoying, for traveling and sightseeing, visiting and having tours. People are taking their children in this time of holiday just to go abroad, to spend money, visit Maldives, swimming in the clear water sea of Maldives. That's all. But we should use this for the spreading of Islam. Like what I've been using now, I'm using this to spread my thinking to the whole world. People in all over the world can hear this, can listen perfectly clear. It's a handphone and what do you call this? Ear what? Earphone. There's no problem. We don't have to make istima or large gathering of people. Then we speak there with a very sophisticated mic system which will enable people to hear what we are speaking. We don't need that anymore. We can do without istima. We can spread what we are speaking to the whole world. So this is a very great blessing. You can enter every house made from wood or stone, this talk of mine. But how many people are talking about deen and spreading it the whole world? There's almost none except me. And only I was able to do this only recently. Before that, I'm only speaking in Malay. Maulana Omar Palampuri was speaking in Nizamuddin, but his speeches doesn't go in the whole world. He can only speak in a large gathering of istima. That only be attended for maybe 500,000 people. And even then I saw they are not concentrating on what he was speaking, all making noise and all this in Tongi istima. Such a great amount of money required to set up the istima. People comes in thousand, cause great distress. People are moving. Sometimes you can't move. There are crowds. But now in the leisure of home, we can listen to talk which has been spoken thousands of miles away. And then we can write books. And the books, people used to read books only when they have the manual one. the book, the real book. But now we have the e-books. We don't need to make, even we can, but we don't need to make a real book. We thought a real book only in the internet, the email, the e-books. So all my interpretation of the Quran, and 84 books can be read with the handphone, internet. Oh, it's a very great blessing of Allah. Very great blessing of Allah, which we never knew it before. But what Sufyan done with the internet? Sufyan Gombak. He's just using it for playing games. Using to enjoy himself. You say, why are you sleeping very late, Sufyan? Playing games. So Sufyan, notorious believer, a notorious, we call it. Many believers are notorious, are not using this internet for spreading Islam. Our main work is to spread Islam. That is the work of a Muslim. Like Sufyan, what he is using it? He's using it to spread Islam? No, to enjoy. Playing games. Notorious games. And what he gains from that? Nothing. With the playing games, he can't do anything else. Can't even sleep, can't even work, help his wife in washing dishes. Not having time to sweep the floor, only looking at games. This is what we are doing now. Rashidi, what he's been doing with all this? Just watching movie, watching movie only. And all sorts of news all over the world, in YouTube. So we are all notorious. We are not using this. This is actually a ni'mah from Allah to be used for spreading the words of Allah. Only my Quran now, but it is so powerful that it will attract. Now people are attracted by the games because they don't know the truth. Once they know the truth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them, to love the truth, then everybody will read the Quran. Then they will not read anything else. They will not play games. What Samad do? Over the internet, just to teach his student. He teaches student on distant learning. What do you call it? Online learning. That's all. They use it for getting money, salary, monthly reward. That's all. So you just think yourself now. Look and ponder. What have I used all this now? Am I using for making myself fun? Singing, listen to songs. That's all. We can do all that, but we at the same time we must use it for the spread of Islam. But we have not done for the spread of Islam and do everything else. So that's why the Muslim in the whole entire world doesn't know that their work is the work of the prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have said to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is your path. Tell them to call people to Allah with basira, with yaqeen, with firm belief. This is my path and the path of those who follow me. But Sufyan never obeyed. Sufyan Gombak, a notorious boy, who only knows how to make use all the blessing Allah given to him for his own pleasure. Unfortunately. So we are using all this for own pleasure. Food, drink, water, ability to breathe. So when we are sick, we are very worried. Because we cannot attain pleasure anymore. We can't make sex, we cannot work, earn money. So we worry, we must go to the doctor. Why we go to the doctor? Because we fear of losing the time to make fun, to have pleasure in this world. We can no longer go sightseeing, visiting, traveling. So we are sick. he said the most important thing in life is to be healthy, they say. Oh, we must be healthy. That's why doctors make a lot of money, because people are very scared of becoming sick. But they treasure the time to enjoy. So the doctors will do something and give them drugs or make surgical operation to remove whatever need to be removed from the body, and then that fellow will become temporarily healthy. Then again, they're committing sins to Allah, enjoying themselves, and that is all the lifetime being spent. Not for the obedience of Allah, not for the pleasure of Allah, for his own pleasure, until the time when he will die and go to the hellfire. And this is the purpose of the life of almost the entire mankind, to attain pleasure in this world. There's no other purpose other than to make myself happy. Like Rashid, he just wants to make himself happy. Have I ever think that I should make my Lord, who is my creator, to become happy? No, it doesn't come to his mind. To the mind of all the people, doesn't want to make his creator happy. Just want to make himself happy, and if possible, his wife, children. That's all. That's all the purpose of life. To make myself, my wife, children. Everybody is worried about their wife, children, what happened to them. That's all. They are not worried about the life of the hereafter. They are not worried at all. But in the true sense of the word, they will die. A time will come and Sufyan will no longer be with us, and we will not be any longer together. We will die. Every one of us here, a time will come when we will go. So where do you go? You ask yourself, paradise or hellfire? That's a question you should never ask. We think that when we die, we only become the earth, and we will be forgotten forever. Nobody remember anymore. All the well-known artists, well-known actors, except a few like P. Ramlee. P. Ramlee are well-known ever since, because his movie is being screened by the TV of Malaysia. Because P. Ramlee, when he was alive, he was a very generous person, He likes to give money. So Allah reward him in this world to remain famous for 1,000 years, he said. I want to live for 1,000 years. It doesn't mean he is famous, he will enter paradise. But Allah fulfilled his dreams. Because he has done very good, give charity a lot. Salama said one time, there's a beggar came to the house. At that time, when the later part of his life, they were asking from Piramli, that beggar was asking Piramli something. Piramli gave everything that they have, the money. And Saloma said, why you give? We don't even have money to eat. Oh, is it? He's a good person in that sense, but I don't think he's able to become the true believer of the good deeds. Because there's no work, I don't know. Nobody knows how to become a believer, true believer of the good deeds. Even nowadays, people know, but they don't want to do it. They say, many people who listen to my bayan and lecture, they know to a certain extent, to become a believer, a true believer of good deeds, you must do gash every day. You must invite people to Allah. But they said, okay, he said, we know, but we will not do it yet. So finally we have Veera to come from PJ after hearing my lecture. He said, I must go. So now he come. Yesterday he came. Before that he came one evening. Now he came for 3 days. So then only Veera knows, how to do the work probably to a certain extent. How to do the work at time of COVID. Without coming here, how he knows? He would not be able to know. He listened to the lecture, but he not exactly understand what these people are doing. But after he come here, I think, yesterday, today, then he was, I have to do Gaj at least, if not morning and evening. Fajar and after Maghrib. Why we have to do after Fajar? Because that's the first work that we should do before all other works. If we think this is the first order of Allah, if we think this is the most important mission that we need to do while living in this world, is to preach, to invite others to good and to forbid from evil. They don't understand this is a work which every believers, those who have recited the kalima, must do. Samad did not know that he needs to do this work, isn't it? Until someone was sent to him to show to him how to do it. Otherwise, he remained, a person who only knows the work but not doing. Isn't it? So, in order to learn, it's not sufficient to hear. You must see also. You must see how the work is to be done. Like Nabi Sallam was teaching the companion. You pray as you see I'm praying. His most effective way of teaching is to show. So how can you see how the work to be done if you don't come here? Naturally, I cannot show in a video, but it is naturally much better if you come and see with your own naked eyes how it is to be done. Although it is simple, but it cannot be done unless you see it. To hear only is not sufficient. Like Pendi, he was doing it first when he hear the lecture, isn't it? Or read the text. Is it the same as when you see or different? When you see the work and when you read the work, what is the same? Different. When you read it, you don't understand and you try to do it. And when you come here, it's very simple. Is it? It's very simple. It's not that difficult. Not that difficult that you can't understand how to talk, Everything is made for you, the scripts. You just have to remember it. Only when you come and see with your own eyes, then you know exactly, otherwise you won't. That's why this companion learned from Nabi Sallam by becoming his companion. They call sohbat. Sohbat means to be with him, to be with Nabi Sallam. They say we sohbat with the elders of Jamaat Tabligh. What do the elders of Jamaat Tabligh do? They just make bayan. And you go there to India, just to listen. Then you are sent for 20 days, you sent for 10 days with some other workers of India. You are not having sohbat with the companionship with the elders. You are having companionship with those who are with you while in Khuruj for 20 days. And some of them are fools, not having taqwa, not having ilm. So the quality of every Jamaat sense are very varied, so diversified. Sometimes very bad Jamaat. They quarrel, end up. Because their sohbat is very unqualified Amir. They're sohbat like a person like Sufyan, who have no qualities and sent for 10 days to become Amir. So now he's married, he's shaved his beard.
Trim.
Where's your beard?
Yeah.
Trim. Now he wants to look more handsome now because he has wife. He was not like this before he married. He's changed.
People want to take picture with the bride groom.
So after a while, when his iman become weak, he will shave. He said, this is only sunnah. I'm not eligible yet to practice this. He's just making excuses not to obey. So, we have to come to Malaysia. If you want to learn really this work, you must make the journey. So you have to pay money for your journey, but when you come here, you become our guest. We serve you with foods and accommodations. Then you will be able to learn. This is time what happened in the time of Nabi Sallallahu. People are traveling on their own risk, their own money, come to Medina. And when they come to Medina, Nabi Sallallahu gave him accommodation. Very simple one. Ashabul Sufa. Because they know it no more. Sahaba, I think, are able to give accommodation for them. Their houses are also small. So they have to stay in the mosque and learn the work. And whenever there are opportunities, the Ansar, the Sahaba, took them for work and give them money to work in their farm. That's what happened to the Muhajirin when they come to Medina. So they are paid to every Ansar, and each Ansar will help him to start his life in Medina. Then our Sahaba, this Abdurrahman bin Auf was paid to a rich man. He said, I will give money. No. Abdurrahman said, show me where's the market. Just that only. Then he started doing his business of trading. Finally, he ended up becoming rich again. So richness is destined, being decided. We don't worry so much wanting to become rich. And we're so worried that we are poor, we will not be able to manage. We shouldn't. Because when Allah wants to make it rich, we will easily become rich. Allah doesn't want us to become rich, we will never become rich. But Allah gives equal chance to people to become the true believers of God. Everybody have the ability to become a true believer, but not everybody have the ability to become rich. Rashidi been very long time until become rich. Has he become rich yet or not? Huh? Has he become rich?
Until die.
Until death, they call it, not until die. He said until death you will never become rich. Have you become rich?
No.
You will never. If Allah do not want you to. If Allah wants you, then you will become rich. To become rich and to become famous or what is all Allah give, Some people Allah give them richness and popularity just to punish them more in the hereafter. Some people are given power, wealth, famous, because Allah wants to reward him in this world. Like Prophet Daud, Prophet Ibrahim, Prophet Sulaiman are given richness, power, and given popularity. Given 100 wives, 99 wives. That is not the test, this is a reward. Because they are the lovers of Allah. Why they become lovers of Allah? They are doing the work of inviting people to Allah. They are the prophets, That's why if you want to become the lover of Allah, there's no way other than doing the work which is most loved by Allah. The work of inviting people to Allah. Is it so difficult for you to understand this sentence? If you want to become the lover of Allah, you must do the work which is loved most by Allah. What is the work which is most loved by Allah? What do you think? Cooking? Huh? Like him? Will cooking make Allah love you?
No.
You know it or not?
No.
Will sending, sending things everywhere become like grab food and all that, will make Allah to love you? Or putting milks every house, become milkman or newspaper man. They also go from house to house. but they send papers and milk. In Australia and all that, there are people, who putting milk. That's why there are people drinking milk in bottles, so you can see paper. That was in the 70s when I was there. I don't know whether it's the same now. So, what is the work? And naturally, the work is to call people to Him. He has invited us for him. And then He wants us to love Him, not to love other than Him, naturally. So, He has chosen some among men to do that work, and they are called prophets. And that work is not only meant for the prophet, but for the followers of prophet. It's meant for anyone who wants to become the lover of Allah. Do you want to become the lover of Allah or not? Or you want to become the lover of your wife? If you want to become the lover of wife, I love you, my darling, there's none in this world more than you, which I love you so much. The only reason why we say that, because we want something from her. Nothing more than having sex. So in order to insinuate her, persuading her to have sex with you, say, I love you, darling, I love you. This is present from me. On Christmas Day. Or on this. Like the wife of Sufyan said, Sufyan only good towards me when he wants sex with me. His wife personally talked to me. Ahmed Shah, please advise Sufyan. Don't go home and straight go to his computer and playing games. Please help me, I have children. He's a very naughty boy. His wife even come. I said, Sufyan will marry another girl. Let that girl suffer. Taste the suffering. I hope Sufyan not doing the same thing with his second wife now. His first wife has died, passed away. He has done very bad thing. Only thinking of his own self. Not even to his wife. He's not wanting to help her in the kitchen. Doesn't want to help her in washing clothes. Only reading internet. Such a bad person. And he took the internet, not his own internet, churi one. Stolen one. I told him already, you shouldn't do that. That is not allowed. You must take permission before you can use other internet, other people's internet. You still stealing internet?
I pay on my own now.
Pardon?
I pay on my own.
Or you paid on your own only now. So my dear brother, this is not a habit we should do. Steal internet from other people's house. So we must be kind. We must be, in order to become the lover of Allah, we must be able to do the work which is loved most by Allah. If you don't believe me, it's logical. To become the lover of Allah, you must do the work which He loves so much. There's no other work which He loves so much than the work of inviting people to Him. So we must visit the non-Muslim, the non-believers. Invite them. Why we are not willing to do that? For what reason that the believers, the so-called, the one who have recited the kalma, are not willing to do that, to visit them, to talk nicely to them, and to invite them. Oh, people are very scared now. Oh, no. When you love him, you don't scare. If you don't love the non-believer, you will be very, very scared. If you only love yourself. So all the prophets of Allah are imbued with the love towards mankind. We must have the love towards mankind. Don't have enmity, not having, any bad feeling towards others. Have love. Have love on everyone, even the creation of Allah. Even the other creation of Allah other than men, the cats, then I'm not so good. I'm not. I used to be, I have dogs before in front of the Chinese house, always barking at me. I get very scared. Until now, I think it's very hard for me to love dogs. I will not do harm to them, to the dogs, but I will not hug them. Even to the cats. All my children love cats. There are a lot of cats in my house. They keep on coming because they got a lot of foods. They can get good food in my house. They will jump from the window. Now one of the cats bear 5 children, 4 or 5 I think. Early morning sucking the milk of his mother, and I took a photo of it. So we have to buy food for them, cat food. So even to animals, we are rewarded, We are kind to animals. What more if we are kind to men? And there's no one who is more kind to men than to save him from the hellfire. A person who have not recited the kalima definitely will have to go to the hellfire. Unless nobody has invited them. Never. Even they live in the jungle, nobody. Then he will be made in the hereafter to live in a place. Neither paradise, no hellfire. Because message has not delivered to them. But for those, the message are available, can be easily, available if you want. It's in the internet, radio, TV. You simply do not want, then you will go in the hellfire. You have the means to know. You must, because you are not living in the jungle where no one is preaching to you and there's no TV, nothing. If otherwise, these people will definitely go to hellfire because they have the chance to be able to know what is Islam. There's book, there's everything. Listen to that. But if you don't, then simply do not want. That means you are simply not willing to believe in Allah. So we must persuade them to the best of our ability, not that we must make him to recite the kalima. Our work is not to make people to recite the kalima, to persuade them with kindness. And that work should be done by every person who have recited the kalima. Someone is not doing this work before he knows me. He was only thinking of his work, earning money, enjoying going here and there with his kids, visiting. Now he got a lot of loans to be paid, a lot of debt, borrowing money from the bank, personal loan for what? Traveling lah, enjoying. That's what Samad was doing before he knows me. So people who doesn't know me, they will not know how the work is done. You have to come to me and see me. And at least see those, when I die, you can only see those who have learned from me, and they won't really be able to tell you exactly. They are not the same as me, isn't it? Huh? Is it the same? Those who follow me and me? Never. Even now when I'm alive, I can see they are not doing what I told them to do. So you must come from many parts of the world. Spend money to come to Malaysia. And your first intention is not to go and see how beautiful Malaysia is, as it used to be, as you used to come, but to learn the work of acquiring Iman and faith towards Allah. That is the greatest things that you have to learn in Malaysia. That is to learn, to learn to work. You must learn it. You must do it before you die, so that you'll be able to acquire that level of Iman, the true believer, the good deeds, so that you'll be safe from the hellfire, so that you'll be able to enter paradise. It's not sufficient only to recite the kalima. You will not be able to enter paradise and save from hellfire unless you become the true believers of good deeds. And in order to be able to become true believers of good deeds, you must do the work which is most loved by Allah, which is the work of all the prophets of Allah. The prophets of Allah are doing, all the prophets of Allah are doing this work of inviting people to good, forbidding people from evil. How can it possible to become the lover of Allah by only praying, by only fasting, and Hajj once in a lifetime? That is also an order of Allah, but the order of Allah will never be able to become accepted by Allah if it's not done with sincerity. And you can never be able to get sincerity unless you become the true believer with good deeds. And you can never become the true believer with good deeds unless you do this work of the prophets. The work of inviting people to Allah, the work of inviting people to good and forbidding people from evil. You agree with me or you not, you are the one who have to suffer if you don't do this work. If you agree, you do this work, you're the one who gain. If you disagree, I say, no, I'm not going to do that one. I don't want to make my Allah to become pleased. That is your choice. When you are unable to make Allah to become pleased, and you want to make your wife only to become pleased, your wife cannot put you in Jannah. Cannot make you safe from hellfire. You better be sensible enough and not to become the lover of your wife, your kids. First, if you make them their lover, then the lover of Allah the love of Allah will not come into your heart. Allah said the hearts only belong to one, either me or other than me. If you have put inside your heart the love for your wife and children, my love will never enter. You must drive that love out from your heart. Then only the love of Allah will enter. Because Allah do not want anybody to associate him with anything else before he chooses that person to become his lover. And when we become the lover of Allah, Allah says, I give you a promise. Once you have me, you will have everything. You lose me, you will lose everything. So bear that in mind. Become the lover of Allah. Do the work which Allah loves most. Willingly or unwillingly. You have no choice. If you want to save yourself from the burning fire of the hellfire. Okay.